after the 2025 season, give me y'all top 5 QBs.
Right now, I'm going Mahomes 1. I'm going Burrow 2. I'm going Lamar Jackson 3. I'm going Jalen Hurts 4. I'm going Josh Allen 5.
Josh Allen at 5. Even though Josh Allen beat Lamar and was voted as the MVP.
Bro, Lamar had a better season than Josh Allen.
That's true. Joe Burrow had a better season than Josh Allen?
I think so.
That's fair.
Patrick Mahomes 1, Joe Burrow 2, Jalen Hurts 3, Lamar Jackson 4, Josh Allen at 5. Lamar and Josh, y'all niggas gotta prove it, bro. This regular season shit, that shit's cool, but like,
bro, where'd you put Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow's number 2.
Okay, you talk about regular season shit. Joe Burrow hasn't been at the playoffs in 2 years,
bro.
He
That's
got
like,
injured the year before.
come on, like let's just look at the tape and be obvious, bro. Joe's getting hoed by his defense, and he's the only one. He's the only one out of the AFC that's been able to beat Patrick Mahomes. These other 2 niggas have not been able to get the job done.
Bro, we're talking about a guy who beat Patrick Mahomes 2 years ago.
And I ain't gonna lie, these niggas low key been giving me friends.
Not even 2, 3.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we've seen. But
he beat him twice that year.
He beat him
regular season
and in the playoffs, nigga. Because that shit not just regular
bro,
season with Joe. Bro. These other niggas is on some regular season
but
shit.
But he lost
bro.
to him this year, bro.
Bro, he didn't.
Bro,
you saw the team. The team is dog, nigga. They need 40 to win the game, just so. Like that shit is. Like, bro, like, look, I'm not gonna lie. I have so much love for, like, and we even talked and we ranked, and I did not have Jalen Hurts that high before, bro. But Jalen, in the fucking moment of truth, I know in the moment of truth, bro, like, I want him in the foxhole with me, bro, because that nigga's actually gonna have my back and show up, bro. And these other 2 niggas who we place so much on their fucking shoulders because of how talented they are, but they have not gotten the job done, bro. Neither one of these niggas have beat Mahomes once. Fuck that shit. At that point, y'all niggas not.
Hey, no, bro. I get that postseason stuff, bro. But bro, Jalen Hurts ain't never had a season like Lamar Jackson's had, bro.
Lamar ain't got no rings.
Hey,
Lamar don't have any rings.
Hey, bro, straight up, I'm gonna.
You don't got 1 ring, bro. You
Hey.
don't got no jewelry, nigga, on that big time shit, bro. What would you have, a Super Bowl ring or MVP? Nigga,
Bro, Nick Foles has a Super Bowl ring, and he was never a top 10 quarterback in the ring. Like, bro, come on now.
But Nick Foles, all time right now, if the world ended today in 2025, Nick Foles has a more impressive playoff run. He has a more impressive postseason run, bro. That's what we do this shit for, Lombardis. I don't need to do this shit for MVPs.
Are we not acting like Dan Marino's not a top 10 quarterback of all time without a ring?
I never watched this tape, so I can't say.
I can't speak on that nigga, bro. I'm speaking on today, though, nigga. And I got the tape for everybody, bro.
Listen.
And I saw one nigga fumble. And throw 2 picks, and I saw another boy go out there and go get it, bro. After 2 years ago, he stayed on that field, bro, and saw the confetti fall, bro. Lamar, bro, what's up? Lamar, what's it gonna take for you to be like, fuck this shit, enough is enough, bro, and actually go win a game, man? I'm not gonna lie, I'm over that shit, bro. So I'm low-key not giving him no more passes. I'm not putting this nigga top 3.
Bro,
that shit's chopped.
41 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. How many rushing touchdowns?
What did he do in the game that mattered?
Like 900
But none of that shit translated to postseason wins, bro.
Okay, but if
that shit didn't translate to postseason wins.
If that's your argument, wouldn't Jalen Hurts kind of just be number 2 at that point then?
Nah. It's not only because I'm not gonna lie, bro. Look. Can I explain myself, bro? It's
good.
The reason why
Joe
Burrow is at number 2 is because at the end of the day, you can't only take in one piece of evidence, bro. There are multiple factors when it comes to ranking these players, my nigga. Like, I'm gonna keep it a B, bro. Like.
So you're not putting in none of those multiple... My bad.
Go ahead.
What about the other factors with Lamar? The fact that, bro, he should be a 3-time MVP. Because this last season, he had better numbers than he's ever had before in any of the MVP races. He should be a 3-time MVP, bro. 3-time league MVP. I get he doesn't have a Super Bowl yet, bro. But, like, bro, he's still nice.
He's nice enough to be a top 5 quarterback. That's how nice he is. He's a top 5 player at his position. That's how good he is. But 41 regular season touchdowns through the air to four interceptions. That's the stat? Yeah.
Bro,
that's the stat. Yes.
We have the video.
What was the fucking turnover to touchdown ratio in the fucking big game against the Chiefs, where once again he did not show up?
You talking about the Bills?
Bro.
Honestly, there were a couple passes. He put it right on the money to Mark Andrews, and it was Mark Andrews' fault.
All right, I'm gonna give my.
Andrews is.
Yeah, give your list. That's interesting.
Bro, yeah, no, let's hear it.
Honestly, here's the thing. There is something in my heart, right, that truly believes Jalen Hurts is probably one of the, when the time comes, he is the best quarterback in the league, right? And I believe that because if you talk about these top five,
Mahomes?
But think about it. I want you to think about this. The top five out of the top five list.
When it matters most.
Sit down.
No, we're talking about when it matters most.
I'm not gonna say he's better than Mahomes, right? We're not gonna ignore the fact that Mahomes is the GOAT right now in this fucking league, right? But I want you to think about these last couple years, right? These top five QBs that we mentioning. Jalen Hurts is literally undefeated against all of them.
I should drop this mic. I was about to drop the mic and walk out the room, nigga.
Mahomes did beat Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. That's the only time. So he has one loss against all these people. He's undefeated against Joe Burrow, undefeated against Lamar Jackson. Then again, he only faced him once. He's undefeated against Josh Allen. He's 1-1 against Patrick Mahomes. Well, actually 2-1.
Would you not agree he also has the better roster than like all these people?
That's exactly. So this is exactly where I'm going with, right? There is something that wants to tell me Jalen Hurts, when the time comes, when he faces these QBs, these top echelon QBs, he plays just like them. He plays better than them. But with that also being said, Jalen Hurts has always been surrounded by talent, right? His defense has always been top 10. Well, actually, no, not last year. Last year's defense wasn't top 10. But all the other rest of his years, his defense was really good, right? He's always had, ever since Smitty and AJ been on his team, he's had a top 10 offense, right?
Yeah, because y'all weren't even putting him in top 10 before he even got AJ Brown.
No, you're absolutely right.
That was early
because
days, though.
Yeah, but we also have to think about it. Jalen Hurts, ever since he became a full-time starter, never anything less than the playoffs.
Yeah.
Never anything less than the playoffs. So
I've never played with him because we could go back on an actual video and watch where you tried to say he wasn't even in the top 5.
Yeah,
But
okay.
that's what I'm saying. But
So you
know,
know,
that shit though.
It's all right.
I literally. No,
So one ring in one game. I mean, I get the ring, but like
it's not even just the one ring.
He also he's a second team All Pro too. And let's be real, if he didn't get injured those 2 games, not last year but the year before.
so he's your
2022,
second. He's your
No,
QB2.
no. He's actually my 5th. But the reason why he is my 5th, right? And the only reason he's my 5th is because we can't ignore what Mahomes has done, right? Almost three-peating is absolutely crazy, right? I'm not going to say that he almost...
I think Jalen Hurts is clearly better than Josh Allen.
Right, okay, so this is what I'm saying. Joe Burrow... So I got Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, because we're not going to ignore what Lamar Jackson does. When we just talk about...
Lamar number 2?
Hey, bro, when we just talk about game changers,
I'm not mad
bro.
at him.
When we talk about game changers, when we talk about, like, no offense, like, yes, Joe Burrow's arm talent is insane. You cannot ignore that. But when we talk about somebody...
He's literally the most accurate quarterback in the league.
When you have to really plan around this guy just making sure he doesn't run the ball and he doesn't pass the ball, like, you only have to stop Joe Burrow throwing the ball. Like, he throws the ball 40 times. Of course he's going to have good fucking stats when it comes to throwing. Any QB who throws the ball 40 plus times a game is going to have it. He literally has like maybe 12 to 13 games where he has almost 50-yard plus passing attempts because they don't run the ball. Of course he's going to have good stats, right? Lamar doesn't have to do that, right? Jalen Hurts doesn't have to do that. Josh Allen doesn't have to do that, right? So these statistics, they're very like one-dimensional because if somebody's throwing the ball 50 times, it's going to be very different. It's going to look different, right? But I have Lamar at 2. I have Joe Burrow at 3 because we're not going to ignore the fact that even though his defense is probably one of the worst-ranked defenses in the league, he still somehow, some way keeps his team in these games, right? Now he doesn't finish, unfortunately, because that team is just trash. But he doesn't finish. I have Josh Allen at 4 only because you can't ignore the fact that Josh Allen's talent and what he did with this team that was supposedly talentless, right? And he still made the AFC Championship. He did it, not last year, but he's pretty much just been able to consistently perform at a high level every single year with very little talent, a very average defense, a very average offense, and he's still the star, right? And I'm not going to disrespect Jalen Hurts. I just want you guys to all remember that this guy plays at the top of the top when he plays the top of the top, right? But I have him at 5 because we cannot excuse the fact that he is surrounded by the best system. He is surrounded by, I won't say the best system because he has a bunch of offensive coordinators issues where they always get promoted, but he's surrounded by the best talent, right? I'm not just talking about offensively. He's had probably the number 1, if not top 3 offensive line his whole career, right? Now, that's not his fault. The offensive line coach for the Eagles have been there for many years, and they've had a top 10 offensive line damn near every single year, right? So it's not Jalen Hurts' fault that he went into the system. But the fact is that he has a ring. He's a second-team All-Pro. He would have been a first-team All-Pro, and he would have been an MVP 2022 if he didn't miss those 2 games. And let's be real. We were a James Bradbury holding call away for potentially making this dude a 2-time Super Bowl champion and a 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
Which would put this whole Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, debate is cooked. That, bro, honestly, I think it's no disrespect to Josh Allen or anything. I think, he has one of the most glaring flaws out of all these guys, and it's the fact that I know this year he turned over the ball less. He turns over the ball more
Plays
than
a lot of hero
guys.
ball. You're right.
Yeah, he does. And on top of that, he's had some very talented teams as well. This was probably the least talented roster he's had in a little while, but
Probably some of the best he played, too.
yeah, but regardless, he still last year had a very talented roster. The year before last, he had a very talented roster. He's been to a bunch of AFC Championship games. He's lost to Mahomes the most. He's lost to Mahomes 4 times in the postseason. 4 times. Lamar's played with Mahomes once in the postseason.
Yeah.
So it's he's lost to him 4 times in the postseason. He's still a really, really good quarterback. He just reminds me of my old quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Where it's we talked about Ben Roethlisberger as always a top 5 quarterback in the league, but he was always talked about as number 5 of his time. Because you had Brady at 1, you probably had Peyton Manning at 2, and then you either had Rodgers, you had Breeze in there, and then you probably had Ben at 5. Yeah, so it's that's kind of my thing is I feel like Josh Allen is that 5. I feel like Jalen Hurts is 4. I feel like Lamar Jackson is 3. Joe Burrow is 2. Mahomes is 1. But I'm going to be honest, all these guys are so good that I'm not going to sit up here and argue with me being blue in the face if anyone changes the order of any of them. I feel like this is the clear top 5. And not to, because Matthew Stafford is also really good in his own right. I just feel like Matthew Stafford is the clearest 6 that we have. And Justin Herbert, yeah, he's number 7. I get that I get that he had that 4 interception game, but they've all had some bad games.
We have to see.
That's one game.
We have to see another year from Jaden Daniels, but as of now, I like what Jaden's doing more than Justin.
I put Jaden top 10 off of 1 year too, but CJ is still ahead of him. I feel like right now.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I can't move past this conversation, y'all.
Go ahead, bro. What's wrong, bro? You like Burrow so much, bro.
Bro, it's a couple things that just don't sit right with me, bro.
I have
I'm
Burrow
gonna be
at 2
honest,
just
bro.
like you, bro.
I do appreciate the argument about Lamar is such a dynamic player.
Oh, this guy's
genuinely,
the biggest Lamar hater in the world.
I might potentially be. I think not the biggest hater, but the biggest critic.
Hate him
though.
more because he's
It's
on
not
the
even.
Ravens.
It's not even hating. It's just the biggest critic of his game because I'm a fan of Lamar. I really am. I think what he's like.
Are you mad that he destroyed the Niners?
No, bro. We deserve to get our ass beat. We haven't been a very good team. We got our team is a whole other discussion. Niggas been beating our ass and we deserve it. We got our own shit to figure out. And I ain't gonna lie, it was just our whole team was in turmoil for a lot of different reasons, bro.
A lot. That's a whole nother.
We can't even jump into that disaster of a season. But I can talk about this, bro. I can't give a player being dynamic. I can't to me that's not a plus. Okay, I will say in terms of scheme and having to come into a game and game plan and having to game plan to be able to stop a quarterback running the ball. And Lamar's not just a runner, he's the GOAT runner.
Yeah.
And then being able to throw, and I have to say he's become an incredibly impressive thrower of the ball too.
Yes.
He's a great player, and being top 5 is no slouch. But the fucking GOAT it runs as slow as molasses, bruh. That arm talent is that arm talent, bro. And I'm going to be honest in regards to that argument with Joe Burrow and his throwing attempts. like I said, bro, we have to look at the context. Joe Burrow has no choice but to sling the rock 40 times, bro. If he doesn't sling the rock 40 times, they're going to lose the game, bro. They have a better running game this year with Chase Brown. He's really impressive. But they haven't. But they're a team to where they have to pass the ball. That's their bread and butter. And you've got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on both sides of the field. So, yeah, I'm putting up 40 attempts every single game. But I'm also it's an efficient and it's an efficient 40 as well. So it's not like he's just out there slinging that shit, bro. But for me, with Joe Burrow, guys, I'm going to be honest, it's also a little bit of, like, bias. It's also a little bit of me kind of taking that example of Jalen Hurts, who I'm not going to knock him for being like kind of born into a really good system and a really good organization. I think like in order
where you're drafted,
you have to play where you're drafted. You have no choice but to play where you are. And I'm gonna be honest, Saquon got taken out. Like I won't say taken out of, but Saquon wasn't regular season Saquon in that Super Bowl. That was a game where, and obviously the Eagles won for a multitude of reasons, but they had to throw the ball and Jalen delivered, bro. And to me, if you start to build up a pattern of shitting the bed in the big game, I can't overlook that. And I'm talking about Lamar. That's who I'm talking about. If we go back to his stats for each of these losses, they've been horrible games. Yeah. Not just bad games, not close games where it was competitive, games where we said, where's Lamar Jackson? The MVP didn't show up. The MVP didn't suit up, bro. He didn't put on that number 8 jersey. That was just a regular nigga. And we have multiple examples of that. And to me, if your history starts to repeat itself, then I have to look at that pattern and I have to take it into account when ranking these guys, bro. And it's the same with Josh Allen, who also has a history of when the big game comes around not getting it done. And to be honest, I would say Josh Allen in the playoffs has had some performances that weren't as bad as Lamar, bro. He's had some bad ones, but shit, he's actually had some games where he just lost some shootouts, bro.
Okay, but Lamar Jackson is such a better regular season quarterback than Josh Allen. And on top of that, I'd argue that Josh Allen has had better teams than Lamar Jackson in the past as well. Lamar Jackson's best wide receiver clearly already has been Zay Flowers. Lamar's
better than Josh. This isn't an argument about that. Lamar is better than Josh. But, again, the reason why I have to...
Josh is 5, y'all.
And when we had this conversation, this was, 2 to 3 weeks ago where I said Jalen Hurts was at the bottom 5?
Yeah, about a month
before the fucking Super, right? Before a couple, like we had a, I think it was the
3 weeks.
This must have been. It must have been like
to really convince you to put into. It wasn't even like top 5. It was like a tier list of like, are you elite or not? And I think he was just like
he was the bottom of that shit.
Yeah.
No, we ranked him. I had him at the bottom of the elite. I had him at number 5.
But I think the only person was Mahomes in his own.
Hurts is a solid quarterback,
but Mahomes to me is in his own category with these quarterbacks, bro. I just think he is because we starting to have niggas talking about comparing him to Tom Brady, which I think is crazy.
But regardless, he's in the right now. He is the 3rd greatest quarterback of all time.
He is, bro. Which is like
he's already better than the Sheriff.
And that's a different.
He's already better than Peyton Manning.
That's fact.
He's already better than Peyton Manning.
That's a different stratosphere of talent, bro. But like to me, like if Joe beat that nigga we talking about comparing the goats to, bro, and that's to me why I'm putting him above the rest of these motherfuckers, bro. Joe, because I think Joe is really himmy, bro, and I'm not gonna lie. It takes fucking talent to win a Super Bowl, to win a championship, and I think if Joe had some actual talent, he got a shot.
Yeah, you know me. I hate the Bengals. I hate the Ravens. I just gotta say too, I have like a. I think my bias with Lamar is gone because he is a Raven, but he is also my favorite college quarterback of all time. But I'll say I hate the Bengals. It sucks to admit it. Joe Burrow is a cold dude. He's ice cold, man. He's ice cold.
Joe's not fucking. He's not selling no game, bro.
Yeah.
If y'all lose that motherfucker, I'll be damned if it's on Joe's time. If it's on Joe's watch,
I've never really seen a game. Maybe they can pull something up. Somebody. Well, I mean, did he? I gotta look back at that game.
18 points.
Eagles were the only team I think that held the Patriots did too.
But the Eagles had a top 5 defense this year.
Not even
this
top
is
5,
and we talking regular season, right?
Yeah.
Not even top 5 there.
We're talking about.
One of one, bro.
Yeah, no, God. But we talking regular season though, right? Just we talking in regular season.
Hey. Pause that shit, bro.
Big pause.
What?
But no, we're talking. That's a regular season.
Wait, what
loss,
did I say, bro?
He said, "I don't even want to repeat it." You gonna realize it when you edit, bro.
That was big pause, bro. Major pause. I ain't gonna lie.